Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Outside the Box Score with me, Mark Rowlands, your home for local sports in Syracuse, right here on the Score 1260. Joined by Braylon Noble, as usual. Braylon, how we doing today?
Good. How you doing, Mark?
Doing well. Um, joined by you hear that too?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what that is. Um, there is nothing being played through our system right now, as far as I'm aware. But okay. There we go. Got it. CBS Sports Radio was still playing in the background for some reason. Um, that's not supposed to happen. So I just turned it off. Weird technical issue to start the show. Anyway, we've got Jim in the chat. It is our kind of our year wrap up show. Year one of Outside the Box Score is over. I've got a couple of clips that we'll play during the show. Just just two from a couple of the guests we've had and interview moments. So we're sort of wrapping up the year. Hope everyone out there has a happy new year. If you've got plans this weekend for New Year's Eve, stay safe. Uh, if you're going to drink, especially drink the beer over from our friends at Myers Creek Brewing Company. Enjoy them responsibly. Don't drive, but have a good, safe, fun holiday weekend. We do have a lot of things. Josh is saying the show falls apart when he's not here. We have a weird technical issue that's never happened before to start the show. It's all because Josh isn't here. Do you have quite a few things to talk about aside from being the year wrap up show? SU men's basketball noon tip today against Pitt. It always I hate Pitt, man.
It's always a tough one.
It's always a tough one, and it's just I almost hate Pitt as much as I hate Georgetown. I just can't stand Pitt. Football, basketball, doesn't matter the
Either
sport.
sport, right?
Rowing, if we play them in softball, I don't care what it is. I just don't like them. So that's a big one. Noon tip at the Dome. ACC home opener for Syracuse today. Both teams coming in at 9-3. We'll talk all about that. Money has been moving around a lot on that game as well. Pitt started as a 1.5 point favorite. Now it's SU -1, getting that little home boost from the betters. SU women's basketball, who no one is talking about, they've been really good.
They have, yeah.
They're really good this year. They play tomorrow at the Dome. That game's at 12:30. We'll talk about that. Shocking, more good news for SU football. It, can't believe it. That since Fran Brown has taken over, it's been nothing but good news.
Mm.
Three massive players announcing they're going to return next year for this new look Syracuse orange, and three guys that really the team couldn't afford to lose, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll get into that. Touchdown, Tommy. It's over. I'm
Had a good
sorry.
run.
You had a great run. Has anyone ever gotten more famous just for being Italian?
No.
it it's listen, loved DeVito, loved him when he was here, wished him all the success in the world at Illinois. He was pretty solid at Illinois.
Mm-hmm.
Parlayed that into getting a spot on an NFL roster. In 8 games, he was 112 out of 176 attempts for 1,087 yards, 8 touchdowns, and 3 picks, and was sacked 36 times in 8 games. Ridiculous. Josh says maybe Leonardo da Vinci, only person to be more famous just by being Italian. That, excuse me, that is a great pick.
Mm.
Um, I was thinking maybe James Gandolfini,
I couldn't even. I don't even know who that is.
Tony Soprano,
Oh, okay.
the guy that played
Okay.
Tony Soprano, but he was a very talented, great actor
Mm-hmm.
who just so happened to be Italian, and they were like, we need an Italian. Want to be a big mob boss Italian on
Ray Liotta.
Ray?
Is Ray Liotta Italian?
His last name's Leota. Come on now, of course he is. Um, I think.
I mean, because in the movie he was like Polish and Italian. I mean, I know that wasn't his real
Yeah,
thing,
yeah,
but
but
like,
no, he's Italian. De Niro,
mm-hmm.
all the actors, all of those Pesci,
Yep,
Pacino, they're all just wildly Italian, and Marlon Brando.
Stallone count.
Oh yeah, yeah. Sly's one of them, sure. they, but at least they're all like really talented actors, Oscar winners and stuff like that. DeVito's like a mediocre quarterback that now has like it. I saw people talking about he he got a partnership with like a sauce brand,
Mm.
and people are like, listen, you're using jarred sauce. Come on now. If you're talking about, you're playing into this whole Italian thing and you're gonna partner with a jarred sauce,
Make grandma sauce.
yeah, like come on now. It's Sunday sauce. You make the sauce on Sunday. It's a whole thing. It, I'm not Italian, but I know enough Italians. Um, come on now.
Mm.
It was a bad look, and I think that's what cost him his job. I think
The jarred sauce.
I think partnering with a sauce company cost Tommy DeVito his job. But it was a good run, and he really was like the best story in the NFL for 2 months,
I think he's got
a month.
career as a backup.
Oh, he absolutely is going to be a clipboard holder for the next 10 years. 100%.
Mm.
That's all this run was for. Was he is officially become a career backup. And I don't know if there's a better job in sports.
No.
Chase Daniel? That guy lives the life.
Mm.
He's what's the stat? He's made like $800,000 per pass attempt or something like that.
He's made a lot of money.
Yeah, it's the best job in the you're not risking your life every single Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
You're just standing there holding the clipboard. Half the time you don't even get hit in practice.
Nope.
Come on now. It's best job in the world, backup quarterback. So congratulations to Tommy DeVito for officially living the dream of every athlete, getting paid not to play your sport. That's what he's going to be. Do you want to talk about Malik Brown? We're going to parlay that into the Syracuse men's basketball talk. And big story in local hockey. Coach Frank Colabufo from West Genesee got his 500th career win on Thursday. They beat Suffern in the title game of a tournament at Shove Park, 4-2 for his victory. And as someone who like somewhat followed high school hockey for a while, because there was a group of guys that came through my high school, the Eccles brothers, that all went on to play lacrosse at Albany. Ryan, the youngest one, transferred to Oswego so he could play hockey and lacrosse, but they were all like CNY player of the year in hockey and lacrosse. They were all insane athletes. So Corcoran is Syracuse hockey, coached by Neil Purcell, who I know fairly well. Put golf together before, and a really great guy, Neil. And West Jenny is our rival in hockey. It's like the one thing that we've maintained a real rivalry. Corcoran, because it was always like Henniger, and it's still Henniger for football. Football, there's a reason they play that game at 9:00 on Saturday morning and don't allow fans to go because it gets rowdy. But is West Jenny is always so good at hockey. They've built such an unbelievable program there. And even though we always had the best players, they would always beat us in sectionals. Every single year, it seems like it's Syracuse versus West Jenny in the sectional final. And West Jenny just had our number for a few years. And it kills me to see their success. No, I'm kidding. Very huge congrats to Coach Colabufo for his win. 500 wins, that's a lot in any sport, but hockey and in high school, it's impressive to stick around for that long and have that much maintained success. High schools don't get enough credit for their ability to like build a sports program. It's similar to college. You have these kids for 4 years maximum, and some of them, you might only have for 2, and because they were on JV or whatever. And it's really impressive to just consistently put out the best talent in the area in a specific sport. Um, Jim mentioned Skinny Atlas is another one that always has had a really good hockey program. You say used to be good at hockey. They won states last year. They're still really good at hockey. I think West Jenny won states last year as well for Section 3 for or Class Double A.
I'm not sure.
They might have.
Could have.
I know we had two in hockey last year.
Mm.
It was Skinny Atlas and I want to say West Jenny were the two. It was a lot of state titles coming out of the Syracuse area over the past year. I love it. It's great to see. You had West Hill basketball, a couple of hockey schools. It really good time for local high school athletics here in Syracuse. So congrats to Coach Colabufo. We're going to take a timeout, come back. A lot of things to talk about here on Outside the Box Score. With me, Mark Rowlands, your home for local sports in Syracuse, right here on the Score 1260. So that CBS thing is so weird.
So what was it just playing?
Yeah. So it's I think I know what happened is I'm probably not supposed to have a show today.
Oh, they didn't think you were doing it.
Well, here's the thing. So everything was in there for the show.
Mm-hmm.
But uh Jim says Oswego High School not good at hockey or football or anything. Yeah, they're not a good sports high school. But so the everything was in there for the show as normal. But I think they probably just assumed like, oh, they're not going to have a show because the Man Child show has been off all week. Like, probably said, oh, it's the holiday weekend. He'll probably take it off. I didn't. So they just left CBS like to play over the course of the show while also having like my commercials in there and stuff. I don't know, man. It's weird. You're right, Josh. Nobody censors me except the FCC. They censor me. Even though we still don't have a delay on the show. And I can't hit the dump button. There is no dump button. Well, there is one, it just doesn't work. Oh, the Holdovers is on Peacock now? Yeah, I'm gonna have to watch that again soon. That movie is fantastic. Love me some Paul Giamatti. You a big movie guy, Braylon?
No.
No? Not a movie guy?
I watch ones I want to watch, but I'm not like the person I just go like, oh, let me watch this, let me watch this, let me watch
Yeah.
this. Because I have a hard time sitting still. I don't know if you can tell how many
Yeah.
times I turn this chair
Yeah,
around.
I do.
So I have a hard time just sitting there watching movies for more than an hour and a half.
Yeah. So I take you didn't see 3.5 hour Killers of the Flower Moon in theaters where you couldn't get up and move. I love movies, man. Movies are cool. That's my take.
Like I just watched like I'll watch ones I want to see. Like I watched Creed, all
Yeah.
the Creeds and Rocky, and I cut last week I watched Equalizer 3.
I haven't seen Threequalizer yet. They should have called it Threequalizer. I'm mad that they didn't. And we're back outside the box score with me, Mark Rowlands, your home for local sports in Syracuse, right here on the Score 1260. Braylon and I were just discussing in the break how the fact that the third Equalizer movie is not called Threequalizer will always make me mad. A huge marketing mistake.
Yeah, they could should have spun that one.
We need to bring back the whole like putting the number of what movie it is like in the title.
Well, they did that for Coming to America.
Yes,
new one
coming,
was Coming
to
to America.
America, the way it should be. That's good marketing. Why wasn't it called Threequalizer?
I don't know.
And then like movie like the most recent one that I can think of that tried to do it and just did it horribly wrong was the 2015 Fantastic Four movie. Because they just put the 4 in the first of all, it's the first one. But they put the 4 just in the middle of the title. So you read it as Fant 4 Stick.
They tried.
I guess.
They tried.
But they put the 4 where the A is. So it's like Fantastic 4. They put the 4 at that second A. And it's just Fant 4 Stick. It's terrible. Just like the movie. That movie's awful. Anyway, enough movie talk for now. Do you want to talk about SU basketball? Like I said, they're playing at noon at the Dome today. Always a big game. Both teams are 9-3. Syracuse currently, like I said, a point favorite. Betting money going on Syracuse overnight. Pitt opened at a minus a 1.5. That is now flipped. I like SU in this game. Pitt is better than they've been the past couple of years. Now I'm drawing a blank on their coach's name. Jamie Dixon?
Pitt's coach. I don't know.
I think it's Jamie Dixon. Has done a good job with that program. They've got a guy, Blake Hinson, scoring 20 points a game, averages 5 rebounds. He's going to be a guy that SU really needs to key in on defense. But the way this Syracuse team is playing right now, and I know the Niagara game wasn't their best, and Coach Autry was actually quite upset that they only beat Niagara by 10 or whatever it was. Oh, Dixon is at TCU now. That's right. I had forgotten about that, Jim. Thank you. Because that is a game that, 20 years ago or 10 years ago, they beat Niagara by 40 and the game's over in the first half. See you later. And that's not how they played, but I still like the way this team is playing right now. I think this is the best offense that Syracuse has had in quite a while. It helps that they don't just play iso ball, which once Jim Boeheim saw Carmelo Anthony, he was like, "Oh, guys can just do that? What? This is weird." And they just ran that for the rest of his career. And no disrespect. Jeff Capel is the coach there now. Yes, thank you. No disrespect to any of the guys that had success at Syracuse, like Tyus Battle and John Gillen, and we've had a lot of good players come through. We were just talking about this before the show, just naming random SU players, like how B.J. Johnson went to LaSalle and became good. That was weird. I found that out today, that he ended up playing in the G League and averaging 20 points a game over 4 years in the G League. Never got a shot in the NBA somehow. But no disrespect to those guys, but they weren't mellow.
Right.
You can only run that style of iso ball if you have someone as special as Carmelo Anthony, who recently, I don't know if this is like his podcast or he was on a podcast recently, told a very funny story about how he didn't want to go into the draft.
I heard that before. He said Boeheim told him, like, "Oh no, we don't need you anymore."
Yeah. Well, it wasn't even that. It was, so he's like, "Coach, I'm coming back. Like, let's run this back. Let's do this again. I want to stay at Syracuse." Boeheim was like, "Get your butt to the NBA right now. What is wrong with you? You're going to be a top 5 pick." Ended up going third. Still, he got drafted behind Darko Milicic.
He would have had a title. He would have had a title.
He would have had a title.
Would have had a title.
The Pistons might have won 3 if they had Carmelo Anthony instead of Darko Milicic.
And young Carmelo too.
Yeah, young prime Melo. You kidding me?
With that team,
that
Phillips and Hamilton and
we'd be
Tayshaun Prince.
We'd be talking about the early 2000s Pistons dynasty.
Exactly.
If they had Carmelo Anthony, but he was like, "Yeah, no, leave. What are you doing? Why wouldn't you go to the NBA right now? You just won a title, And hey, man, that's that you did what you came to college for. You
Mm-hmm.
balled out, you won a title. Now you're going to go to the NBA and be a great player. He's like, no, but coach, I want to I want to go to college. Like I came to college to go to college, which is something that very few student athletes of his caliber do. You know,
Mm-hmm.
it's the old adage, I didn't come here to play school.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, no, I want to go to college and get my degree and uh, all that. He's like, no. He's like, you leave right now. And the quote he said was, you don't even pack your things. Just leave. I'll send them to you. I'll clean out your apartment. I I'll send you all your stuff. Leave as soon as humanly possible. So shout out Boeheim because not many coaches would do that.
Yeah.
Ever be like, oh, dude, you want to stay? Yeah, come on. We'll win 2 or 3 of these things. Come on now. And Boeheim's always been he was always his player's biggest fan. That that's something like in terms of support and furthering their professional career. He was always in favor of that. That's why so many guys left after 1 year when they shouldn't have.
Mm-hmm.
Michael Carter Williams, Tyler Ennis, or MCW was 2 years. But Tyler Ennis and
Malachi Richardson.
Malachi Richardson and Chris McCullough, which never ceases to amaze me that he did that. He wasn't even good.
Well,
He played like 5
he got
games. And,
hurt,
yeah, he
right?
played like 5 games. Was okay, and tore his ACL or something. And was like, "Yep, I'm ready." Played 5 college games, dude.
Well, it worked for Kyrie Irving. He played 11.
Yeah, but he was clearly better than Chris McCullough was. He really Kyrie only played
Yeah,
11
he broke
college
his
games.
hand or something. Like he broke something, and he only played 11 games
I
for
didn't
that.
realize that because I remember him playing there.
Yeah, he played when he was there. He went off. He had
Yeah,
a few games where it was like crazy. But
yeah. Uh, Jim asks if we beat Pitt today. Is there title talk from some people in local media? No, but I think that's when you start looking at this team as like, okay, we are a tournament team.
mm,
I think right now they're borderline. It was Joe Lenardi, the bracketologist from
yeah,
ESPN, recently put out his 64 seeds for the tournament, and we snuck into the considered list.
if we make the tournament, I think it's a win this year, though.
Oh,
Archie's first
absolutely,
year, I think that's a win.
absolutely. It's a massive win if they make the tournament this year. And I said that before the season that I thought this team could be a tournament team
Mm,
because the talent is too good not to be.
mm,
Uh, it was just all about how Autry was as a coach, really, and how he could harness that talent, which I think he's done quite well. JJ Starling has been good, not great. The shot is getting better.
mm.
He's actually making 3-pointers now, which is good to see because he didn't do that for the first 7 games of the season. Uh, so his shot's gotten better. The team's starting to play more like a team as well. I think if they beat Pitt today, get to 10 wins, you're 10-3, haven't lost at home. Yeah, I think the tournament discussion begins.
Mm-hmm.
And hey, maybe this is a team that, say you go into the ACC tournament as a 6 seed, steal a game or two. It who knows
Mm-hmm.
what can happen with this team in the future. And Jim also says, yeah, Turney is a massive win and verifies the needed coaching change. Yeah, it automatically legitimizes the I don't want to say risk, but the move of hiring Autry as the head coach because
Mm-hmm.
I don't think there was much risk involved. Actually, I think quite the opposite. I think it
Yeah.
was about as safe of a play as you could go.
Mm.
But it does immediately legitimize that. But it's a good team, man.
Yeah.
I said it before the year. I'm going to keep saying it. I know they have those horrible, horrible losses to Virginia, Tennessee, and Gonzaga, where they barely showed up in those games. But
Those are powers.
those are really good
Yeah.
teams. It, Tennessee's got one of the best defenses in the country. Gonzaga is one of the best offenses in the country. And Virginia is Virginia. But it's that simple. Like,
Yeah.
they're going to make threes.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to play ridiculously good defense. And Tony Bennett's going to look handsome on the sideline. That's Virginia basketball. And you look back at those losses at the end of the year, and those aren't the ones that kill you. SU in recent years has had the losses that kill you.
Mm-hmm.
Colgate.
Yeah.
Um, there was another terrible one they lost last year. I don't remember what it was. They lost one really bad non-conference game, but those are the losses that kill you. And Syracuse doesn't have those. Yeah, they might get one or two. And I would say, like, if they lose to Pitt today, that's not a loss that kills you.
No.
That puts Pitt at 10-3.
Yeah.
And so that's a good team. They're vying for a tournament spot as well. We're in a better spot than we have been in recent years. And it's only going to go up, I think. Autry's he's a really good recruiter. He'll get some guys. He loves that DMV area, which SU has farmed for a long time. And I think he's doing a good job. Yeah. So some of the media stuff hasn't been great. But that's what, like, the no comment on the Benny Williams situation was. Which, I don't remember. Were you here when I talked about the Benny Williams thing?
I was not.
Yeah, that's right.
I heard you say something about it, but I wasn't here when you talked about it on air.
Yeah. So, it was the reason he got suspended. Was he got into a fight. Talked about it on the air. No one picked it up. So thanks. I go out and do a little real reporting for once, and gets no traction. Got like 10 likes on Twitter. It's still my pinned tweet. Bryant, that was the one I was thinking of, Jim. They lost to Bryant last year. And shout out Bryant, who I believe made the tournament.
I think they did. Yeah.
They were pretty good last year. But yeah, they lost that game by like 10, didn't they? Was it? Or no, that was a shootout.
Yeah.
Bryant scored like 98 points on us. I think we scored like 94 or something. I think that one was close, but we gave up almost 100 points to Bryant. Shout out Bryant. My dad almost went there for college.
Really?
Yeah. He didn't go to college, but
that's where he was looking.
Yeah, he was going to go to Bryant if he did. They offered him a golf scholarship. So we do kind of like root for Bryant. And I know I knew a guy that played baseball at Bryant, Steve Thetke, really good lefty. Didn't throw that hard. He topped out at like 88 probably, but just nasty. I mean, everything moved. He could not throw a baseball straight if he tried. It was just filthy. And so my family has this weird connection with Bryant that we kind of root for their sports every once in a while. And but that loss was not great.
No.
You're almost going to give up 100 points to Bryant? They were a D2 school until like 10 years ago.
That was in the Dome too, right?
Yeah. We lost to Bryant at home. We're not going to play Bryant on the road. We're not going to go to Bryant to play them. Of course it was at the Dome. That's one of those classic, let's schedule the school that was legitimately a D2 school until like 10 years ago. Or not even, like, they might still be D2 in some sports. Yeah. I think they're D2 in baseball. Scored like 98 points on us.
They had a good night.
Sure. We can say it's like LeMoyne beating us.
The basketball gods were in their favor.
It's like if LeMoyne came into the Dome and dropped 100 on us.
You know something? I think eventually that's going to happen. I think LeMoyne is going to get us. Like, once they get their program,
absolutely,
they're going to get Syracuse. One year they're going to get them, and everybody's going to be like, "Oh my God, they lost to LeMoyne."
Yes, Jim, that was the game where Mintz got tossed. I don't remember. So he got called for like a foul.
He slapped the kid. He slapped him.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, it was I got to think of his name.
Because he was a transfer.
He transferred and he was playing because I remember him playing in the tournament.
Yeah, from St. Peter's.
Yes.
And he slapped him, and then he slapped him.
And then and it started the whole fight. Doug Josh just said Doug with a period. God, what was his last name? It was Doug. Josh, you're gonna have to help me out here. Eatert?
Yep. something like that.
Doug Edert
Yep,
or
it's something
Edert. It's something like
Ed Hart or something like that. Something like
no,
something like that.
yeah, that guy was a jerk. That whole thing, I forgot. That was a ridiculous basketball game. I had forgotten about that. Yeah, Judah got tossed for slapping a guy. Yeah, Josh said, yeah, it was Edert, Edert. Ah, yeah, ugh, terrible. How did we survive SU basketball last year? It was such a wild year.
Yep. Yep.
We had a guy. We had no idea if Judah was gonna come back. We were bad, but were we? We
A lot of drama.
a lot of drama. They finally retired Jerry McNamara and Hakeem Warwick's number after 20 years. SU takes way too long to retire numbers. They just announced they're going to retire Paul Gates' number. Gary Gate, the lacrosse coach, his brother, both of which were unbelievable lacrosse players at Syracuse. They're just now retiring his number. It's been like 40 years. It's maybe not 40 years, but it's been way too long. They take so long to retire numbers.
Is Melo retired yet?
Yes.
He is? Okay.
Yeah, they did his like 5 years ago or something, which is still too long.
Yeah. It should have been in 2007.
Yeah. I hate when teams like the Twins do this right. Like the Twins already retired like Joe Mauer's number, and teams that like do it quickly because you should. Why wouldn't you?
Maybe they don't want to do the thing like when the Bulls retired Jordan's number. Like they retired his number like right after he retired, and then he came back, and then he had to wear 45 and 12, and
yeah.
Well, I think 12 was something different, but he had
to wear 12 was different.
He had to wear 45 for like half the year, because they had retired 23. So maybe that's why.
But here's what I never understood about that: you retired it for him. Just give him the number. Seriously,
well,
don't retire numbers correctly. The Heat.
They retire other people's numbers.
They have Dan Marino and Michael Jordan's numbers retired. That's a different sport and a guy that never played for your team. And the reason I bring this up is Udonis Haslem they're retiring his number, which I get it. He played there for 38 years. He averaged 4 points a game for 20 of them. But he's talking about how he didn't like that the NBA retired Bill Russell's number, like league wide. He's like, yeah, I mean, he wouldn't like hold a candle to anyone in the NBA today. That's not the point, dude. It's Bill Russell. It has that doesn't have anything to do with his basketball.
I mean, I could see like hanging his number up, but I don't really understand like league wide retirements, because like I get that they made like the league better and they did like things socially and stuff like that, but he didn't play. He didn't play for you. So that's the only. I can see like hanging his number up. Somebody can still wear 6. Somebody can still wear 23. I could get honoring them. I just don't get like sometimes I don't understand why they just retire it like outright.
So yeah, Udonis Haslem is complaining about that. I'm like, you played for the Heat. No one could wear. LeBron James had to wear number 6 because you retired a number for a guy that beat you consistently, year in and year out, beat you, and they're just like, that guy was real good, man. No one will wear number 23 for the Miami Heat. We're gonna honor how that guy kicked our butts every single year. It's the softest move in NBA history, closely followed up by the Lakers hanging a banner for the in-season tournament title.
That I don't get either.
It's so.
I don't get the point of the tournament in the first place.
Yeah,
I watched some of it, but I was just like, you have the playoffs and the finals. Why do you need this?
Yeah, 100% agree. And they hung a banner.
Is everybody gonna do that in season every year? I can see doing. It's the first one, like okay, but like every year.
Yeah, I know. Are the Hornets gonna hang a banner for their in-season tournament win in 2026?
Well, maybe they should, because they don't have any championships.
Well, that's true. It'll be the first banner hung in that arena.
The Clippers could hang it.
Yep, only teams that have never won a championship should be able to hang a banner.
Kings.
Yep.
Uh,
What other teams haven't won anything?
the Knicks haven't won since the '70s.
Hey, that's close enough. Yeah, they can hang a banner. Knicks relevant again. That's it. We either need to have only banners for championships or have a hilarious amount of banners. Like if the Pistons hang a banner,
win first game.
yeah.
Broke the streak.
if the Pistons hang a banner for losing 29 consecutive games, that
You should do that.
I think they should.
It's an accomplishment.
You broke an NBA record.
It was hard to do that. It was really hard to lose 30 games.
I really thought they were going to beat the Celtics.
They almost did.
Like before the game, I was like, I should just put way too much money on Pistons money line. I didn't, and they ended up losing, so thankful. But I just had a feel. The Pistons always find a way to beat the Celtics. It's always a guy that's not good that beats us. Ish Smith turned into Magic Johnson every single time the Pistons played the Celtics. It was horrible. I was talking to a buddy of mine who's a Pistons fan the other night. He's like, yeah, but here's the thing. He was actually good. I'm like, Ish Smith? No, he wasn't. He goes, but he was. He was kind of good.
He was a decent guard.
Yeah, he was actually kind of good, just never got playing time for whatever reason. It was weird. Yeah, he would always kill the Celtics. And I really thought the Pistons were going to beat us. Because I'm a Celtics fan. And that's another banner-worthy thing. When they win a game, the Pistons should hang a banner for when they have to win again at some point. Might be next year, but
I don't know. I don't know if they. I thought they would win more than 10 games. I don't even know if they do that now.
No. They're on pace for 7.
Yeah, that'll be the record.
Yeah. And if they do that,
so would that be 70, 75 losses?
Yeah, they're on pace to go 7-75. And if they do that,
hang a banner.
Yes. But that will mean that in every one of the 4 major sports, the Detroit team has the worst record. And I need that to happen. Because we were just talking about the Pistons won a title 20 years ago. I remember when the Pistons were good. 2 wins. It is December 30th. Season's been going on for 2 months. They have 2 wins. It's hilarious. I need the Pistons to lose like 40 games in a row. It would be good for my soul. I need them to be terrible going into the All-Star break, like just historically bad, and then like 8 games over 500 after the All-Star break. That would be hilarious. Sneak into the 8 seed somehow.
Well, with the play-in, it's possible.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I totally. Sneak into the 10 seed. Get a play-in spot. Come on now, you can do it, Pistons. I believe in you. We have another timeout to take. We'll be right back here on Outside the Box Score. Phone line's open, by the way, 315-671-1260 if you want to chime in. That's 315-671-1260. We'll be right back here on the Score 1260. I didn't even see this. Jim said attendance was good enough years ago for SU not to need number retirement ceremonies. That's probably fair. Because I went to that. It was against Wake Forest last year when they retired GMAC and Warwick's number. I went to that in the ceremony. And yeah, it was like 30,000 people there.
Wait, we can't? Where did that voice come from?
Okay, weird. And what about these old cords and this old hose? No, those are not recyclable. Remember, when in doubt, throw it out. voice you just heard is me, Kevin from Syracuse Hollers. Knowing what to recycle can be difficult. When in doubt, throw it out. If you're not sure if it's recyclable, visit okra.org or call Syracuse Hollers.
And we're back outside the box score with me, Mark Rowlands, your home for local sports in Syracuse, right here on the Score 1260. Want to quickly touch on SU football. Big returning players for the Orange. Marlo Wax, linebacker, coming back. Oronde Gadsden Jr., coming back. Justin Barron, coming back. So two key members of the defense, and Oronde Gadsden, who was going to be their top weapon offensively, at least in the passing game before his Lisfranc injury, all coming back. Those McCord to Gadsden touchdowns.
Oh, they're gonna be crazy.
Oh, they're gonna hit so different. They're gonna feel so good. I mean, if Syracuse can bolster the offensive line, which they're starting to, they've gotten a couple offensive linemen from the transfer portal. If they continue to do that, like they're in talks with one right now, he's coming for an official visit soon from Texas A&M. It's down to Syracuse and Alabama again, and we won the last one. I don't know if that's going to happen twice. I don't know if Syracuse is going to beat out Alabama multiple times in one offseason. But they've got one coming in for a visit. They can bolster this offensive line. This team could be really good next year, especially with that schedule. And they just lost Army from the schedule next year, which sucks because it was going to be in West Point, and that's always a cool trip for the guys, like to go down there, and it's such a historic place. So I kind of wanted Army to stay on the schedule. Then they were saying it was going to be Kansas, and then Kansas dropped out of that agreement. So now there's just not a game. We have to find an opponent, but all the schedules are pretty much made at this point, so it's really hard to just find an opponent. I don't know what they're going to do. It's just, what do you do when every other school in the country is
play
like,
Albany or something? Play a D2 school or something.
yeah, probably get up. We had Albany this year.
Yeah.
Just beat up on them again. Scored 80 points on Albany.
Rhode Island. It's gotta be one of those teams.
Yeah, and Bryant. There we go.
Yeah, right.
Doug Eatert's the quarterback now. Bryant.
Rondé Gadsden's gonna slap him.
He's gonna get his revenge. He's gonna tackle Marlo Wax. Just for fun. He already got rid of the ball. The running back's got it. He just goes after Marlo Wax. Jim says in the Dino days it would have been SU versus Northern Alabama for recruits. And we wouldn't have got him. Yep, I'm gonna go to Eastern Michigan, not Syracuse. It is funny that we all like convinced ourselves that Dino was a good recruiter. Just because he was a personable guy, we're like, yeah, he must be a good recruiter. Then we actually get a good recruiter. It's like, what?
You can do this?
This is impossible. I didn't think this was allowed. I love it. I absolutely love it. We've had some guys leave. Like I saw Luke McPhail, one of the quarterbacks, is entering transfer portal. But I was so confused. Josh just said in the chat, I like Bama in Texas. Like, okay. I didn't see that Jim asked for our semifinal picks for Monday. I also like Bama. I think they're going to beat Michigan. Because I don't think Jim Harbaugh is a good coach, and he certainly can't win a big game.
No.
He finally learned how to beat Ohio State. Took him many years. Yeah, it took him many years to learn how to beat Ohio State. So he finally figured out how to do that, but he still can't win a big game. So I like Bama in that, and I like Washington.
Yeah.
I think I would lean Washington over Texas.
Yeah, because I don't think Texas is.
I just hate Texas.
They've been saying, "Oh, Texas is back. Texas is back." Well, when we see it,
Texas is never back.
When we
Texas
see
will
it.
never be back. This is why I was mentioning earlier before the show. I think I just hate watch college football at this point because there's so much about it I don't like. This is why I don't like Texas, because they'll never be back. But they always say they're back.
well, if Peyton, the Manning's nephew,
Yeah,
if
Arch.
he plays,
Yeah,
maybe.
maybe. We don't know if he's good yet.
Yeah, that's the
He's
thing.
played like 3 plays.
I remember watching one of his high school games.
Yeah, because they always they would
put him on
televise his
ESPN.
games on
Yeah.
ESPN. Yeah, I remember watching him in high school. He was a stud.
Yeah.
He was an absolute stud in
Yeah,
high
I was
school.
surprised that they didn't start him this year.
I
They had
was.
Ewers.
Yeah, they had yours and the other guy.
Yeah.
There's a third guy as well. We're just sitting here watching. It's very rainy at the site of the college football playoff right now. I hope that keeps up. I hope it's a storm they have to play it on Monday. At least make the game interesting.
Heavy rain, a little bit of snow.
Yeah. That'd actually be good for Michigan because all they're going to do is hand it to Blake Corum anyway because they don't have a good quarterback. Yeah, I said it. I don't think that guy's good. People are talking about him as a first-round pick. I wouldn't touch him with a 10-foot pole. But they're just going to hand it off to Blake Corum anyway, so give him some room to run in bad weather. That would actually make me lean Michigan for once, which I hate doing because I don't like. They cheat. They're like really bad. They cheat. They have a coach that can't win a big game, and everyone acts like they're the best thing since sliced bread. And I don't like them. I don't like them one bit.
I like Michigan basketball.
Yeah,
I like Michigan basketball.
Michigan basketball is funny because of now I'm blanking. Juwan Howard. Yeah, Juwan Howard just committing violent acts at least 3 times a year. It's good for a little entertainment when Juwan Howard punches a guy. That's who we should send after Doug Eater. Juwan Howard. Thank God Michigan didn't play Bryant, and all a brawl would have broken out between those two. Someone on the sideline with some boxing gloves for them. We're going to do this now. Actually, we're going to take one more time out. Then we'll come back. I've got a couple of clips from some of my favorite moments from the show this year that we're going to do when we come back. So stick around outside the box score with me, Mark Rowlands, your home for local sports in Syracuse on the Score 1260. Notable players out for Florida State. Everybody. Wait, their backup quarterback isn't playing? Because their quarterback got hurt.
Well, yeah, the last game they played, the game they won.
Yeah.
Their third string quarterback was playing.
Oh, was he?
Yeah, he was out. I thought they said he was coming back, but I don't know if that's the backup or the third string.
Yeah. Yeah, when they beat Louisville.
Yeah.
That was an atrocious game as well. And we're back outside the box score with me, Mark Rowlands, your home for local sports in Syracuse, right here on the Score 1260. Got a couple of clips here that I wanted to play for you. Just 2 coming from a couple of my favorite conversations I've had on the show this year. First one goes all the way back to the first edition of the show, way back in February. I had my old Babe Ruth coach. He's now the head baseball coach at OCC, Bob Perino, on, and I asked him something that I thought he was passionate about, and I was right. Uh, what it's like being a coach for an inner city baseball team, because it's hard to find players that play in the inner cities now. And I thought he gave a really good answer, so I wanted to play this for you. This is me and Coach Bob Perino of OCC. Everything you did in terms of inner city baseball. I know you care so much about kids in the inner cities having the opportunity to play baseball. You're a huge part. You're a co-founder of the Syracuse RBI program, part of the group that got Rob Manfred to come to Burnett Park. That's when I was on the varsity team at Corcoran. So we actually worked that event. I got to meet Rob Manfred. Oh, if I could meet him now, the things I would say to him. I'm certainly not his biggest fan. But I just want to talk about how important it is for kids to have the opportunity to play baseball, because it's something that we don't see enough of nowadays, is kids in the inner cities playing this game.
I just like urban education. I mean, my kids went to Henniger. My wife went to Henniger. I was a CBA boy, and I sent my kids to Henniger.
Yeah.
We lived behind the Steve Grilly's Change of Pace Bar and Grill on the north side. I love urban education.
Yep.
I love urban kids. There's just something about the personalities, and I'm not disrespecting any other part of the world. I just like what I've been around.
And you did coach outside of that sphere.
Yes,
you were at FM for a
and
while.
those kids are just as cool as urban kids.
Yeah.
Kids are kids, and we did it forever. And the RBI thing was to get kids trying to just organize. It was supposed to be organized Sandlot, basically.
Yeah.
Because Sandlot's fun.
Oh, it's the best.
Because what's good about Sandlot is you talk junk to your friends. I do think one problem with society right now is because we are all social media people. We're not around people enough to have someone tell you, you know what, that sounds really dumb.
Yeah.
You don't do that anymore. So now it's like if you surround yourself with your little sphere, you think everything you do and say is right or appropriate. Sandlot was kind of fun. So when we started RBI, it was basically meet up at Henniger.
Yep.
Turn the lights on, play double headers. Remember the one year we have Jimmy Oliver, who's big with the Police Athletic League now.
Yep.
He was, he co-founded it. He was really the founder. I just kind of coattailed. But remember, we'd have the playoffs. We'd have the speakers going. And then the one year, my buddy Pat Murphy, who's the bench coach for the Brewers,
of course,
sent us some stuff from Arizona State to use as prizes, which probably was a recruiting violation back then.
Oh, definitely.
But you guys were all excited. We had batting gloves. We had wristbands. I remember the Baranchiks were all excited because they liked Arizona State.
Yeah.
And we had the Arizona State logo on the bats and the catching gear. For some reason, the catching gear was green, too. It must have been like a St. Patrick's Day.
Yeah.
It was just fun. It's fun seeing kids who aren't even that good.
Yeah,
Mark,
exactly.
It was fun watching you play, Mark.
Oh, exactly.
It's fun watching kids just play. Just play and do dumb things on the field and make mistakes and run the wrong way but now, unfortunately, that's not the way of the world. Everything has to be more organized, and you pay a lot of money, and the poor city kids really can't, and there's a lot of other stuff going on.
That was just a quick clip there from Bob Perino, head coach over at OCC Baseball, about what it was like for him coaching inner city kids and the RBI program, some of the great work he had done in the past. We do have to take one more time out, come back, wrap things up, and I'll play a clip, maybe my favorite clip from the show in this first year. Scott Cassidy talking about his one game as a member of the Boston Red Sox. We'll show you that when we come back.
The audio industry is on fire and growing fast with
Mark, apparently not good at baseball. No, I was not good. I played for 15 years, and I was not good. I couldn't hit. I said it in that show, in that full interview, and I'll say it again. He's a big reason why I got into broadcasting, because after a Babe Ruth practice one day, he said, Mark, you'd really be a decent player if you knew how to swing a bat. I just couldn't hit. I was never a good hitter. I was a good fielder. Josh says you need kids to keep a good book, Jim. Listen, I've said it before. I keep the cleanest book in New York State. You've never seen a book kept as well as when I keep book. Marky scorebooks. And we're back, wrapping up another fun-filled hour here on Outside the Box Score with me, Mark Rowlands, your home for local sports in Syracuse on the Score 1260. Going to play one more clip for you. Scott Cassidy, head coach at LeMoyne of their baseball team, now a Division I program. I asked him about his major league career. He spent quite a few years in the big leagues, but specifically about the one game he pitched for my team, the Boston Red Sox. I want to ask you about your time in the big leagues. Yeah. It's strictly because you pitched one game for my favorite team. I'm a Red Sox fan. And
sorry about that.
Well, that's the thing. So I'm a Red Sox fan, and I look, I'm like, oh, he pitched for the Red Sox. I'm looking at the baseball reference page, and I see one game, and I see ERA 40.5.
Yeah.
Who was it against? Do you remember?
Oh, I remember. Yeah. It's funny because we were playing Baltimore.
Baltimore?
And my in-laws, they came to the game.
Oh, no.
I talk about this game all the time to people. The very first hitter of the inning hits a long fly ball that I, to this day, think should have been caught by Johnny Damon in the outfield. And it ends up going like track wall. It was a high fly ball, and the guy gets a triple, right?
Yep.
I remember this. They bring the infield in, and I get a nub job off the end of the bat, and it lands in the back edge of the dirt. I'm like, this is not going well for me right now. Next guy hits a double, and I end up I'm coming out of the game. I think I only got one out that inning. And then I actually got sent down like a couple days later.
Oh,
it was leading up to the All-Star break. I don't know if you remember this, but you probably do, being a Red Sox fan. Schilling went to the bullpen briefly. I was the one that got shipped out when he went to the bullpen.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So it was All-Star break on the plane. They're like, hey, he wants to talk to you.
Yeah.
One job.
Those damn Orioles, man. That was, it just, I love that. I love that clip. The whole, listen, I hit a fly ball that I maintain that Johnny Damon should have caught. I think it's a hilarious line. Also, Jim's talking about, I mentioned, I was talking about during the break. Yeah, I was not a very good baseball player. I admit it. I keep a very clean book. I still keep book. I keep book for a lot of Syracuse Mets games just for fun when I'm sitting back here bored out of my mind. And Jim said when he used to play softball, they used to pay a kid to keep book for them. That's hilarious. Just like, hey kid, we need you to keep book. Here you go. Here's $10 or whatever. He kept stats and everything. Josh said, still bewildered that I can't find the clip of Damon costing Cassidy his Red Sox career. Josh and I looked for like 2 hours trying to find the video of that game. MLB has clips of almost every game. They do not have the one random July Red Sox-Orioles game. It's nowhere. We could barely find a record of that game existing. I just want to see if Damon should have caught the ball. He probably should. I blame Johnny Damon for Scott Cassidy lasting one game with the Boston Red Sox.
Somewhere he's sitting at home listening. I didn't do it.
I like Johnny Damon sitting in his mansion in Florida.
What are you blaming me for?
It was 10 feet over my head, Scott. I never could have gotten to that ball. You're a liar. I've started this beef with Scott Cassidy and Johnny Damon.
It's gonna be on ESPN tomorrow.
This clip from July.
Former MLB player Johnny Damon
screams at local Division I baseball coach. Anyway, that's gonna wrap it up for the show and the year. We'll be back next week in the year 2024. So everyone have a safe holiday weekend. Thank you, Braylon, for being here. Thank you to Josh and Jim in the chat. Thanks to everyone for listening for the 10 months that this show has been around. We're approaching that year anniversary next February. Happy New Year, everybody. We'll see you next year. Peace.
Listen on radio, smart speakers, and our free mobile app, WSKO Syracuse. A Cumulus Media Station, the voice of the